bought this after my first video of it, huh? Cool. Good intro, good intro. Welcome to what will probably be the final session of Mecha Ace. We're here on episode 9. We just finished a lengthy interlude. We have received our mission for what will be like the last stand here. Like Codex Last Hope, as the text for episode 9 says. Take care, Applejack. Go ahead and lurk. You're increasing my viewer count. That's search engine optimization, baby. Yeah, like, I have set aside up to 6 hours to finish this, but I don't think it's gonna take 6 hours. I am expecting, like, 2 more episodes and maybe an interlude. Because we've been built up to expect, like, the final, like, clash here, the final situation. I don't know for sure. We'll just kind of find out together. When's the next soundboard appearance planned? I will answer that before I get started reading Summer. That is going to be next week. I will be doing 2 marathons next week. One is definitely going to be next week, Saturday, which is the 28th. And the second marathon will be either Tuesday or Wednesday. It'll be the 24th or the 25th. I haven't exactly decided which day yet. I need to take stock of more fairs around here. But the normal session broadcast of Daggerfall and whatever, that's going to be on pause next week because I'm going to be running 2 marathons. And during those marathons, it'll be when the soundboards return. Do we still have a piloting of 1? As a matter of fact, we do. Cool. I'm not exactly sure why you decided to make me a part of your life for that long, but, cool. Glad I could make a positive contribution to you. So, Commander Rico Rico, who commands Chucklefuck Lance, who is going to be guiding the Blue Mask into this final assault mission, if you will, to gain control of the Death Egg, is handicapped. His right hand is completely dead. Due to a torture box, effectively. All of the nerve endings have effectively been seared, and he's a torture victim. Chat attempted to will our hand back to some semblance of functionality, and failed. Now, we were caught and tortured after an amazing attempt at defending Crown Station. The Death Egg showed off its powerful superweapon, Train, and vaporized a good chunk of the rebel fleet. We ordered our Lance to fall back and defend what was left of Codex's fleet, while we charged the Death Egg single-handedly. Unfortunately, our character has a perception of 1, and could not find any weaknesses to prevent the Death Egg from firing again. We tried. We're a very skilled pilot. We were at the time. And we got a head start. We were in great position. We, had a few solid angles to make great, unharassed shots at the Death Egg. But we didn't know where to shoot. And then we were mobbed. Death Egg fired, completely annihilated Crown Station. Millions of civilians and other military personnel who were on that mammoth station are dead. They no longer exist. Hello, Atrocity. I suppose I should also change the game that I'm playing, because it's technically no longer Daggerfall. We are into choose your own adventure story time now. Hooray. Because it matters to have these things officially labeled. I wouldn't want to lie to anyone, MLK Day in Mecha Ace. Reading, we'll call this. I like it. Alright. Possibly, Summer. Possibly. But so yes. The Death Egg fire destroyed Crown Station. We were mobbed, given the opportunity to surrender, and we said no. And we basically fought it out until they had to disable our mech. And in part, that's what ensured us having terrible treatment, along with chat not wanting to surrender information to avoid torture, which is how our right hand just got completely dead. It's a limp thing now. Meanwhile, our entire lance is missing in action, assumed killed in action. They did safeguard the retreat of what was left of the Kodak fleet back through the wormhole into Kodak fleet's home systems, but we haven't seen them since. Meanwhile, after our torture, we were rescued by the Blue Mask, who, due to personality differences and conflicts with the Death Egg, freed us. He's got an awesome, cool experimental mech, and he's joined Kodak. And he's got his own plan. We're going to be helping him execute that plan. There's a cool, awesome distraction that's going to be conducted. One final assault to derail the rebels. And we're going to try and get the Blue Mask close enough to the Death Egg that he can take control of it. Or maybe not the Death Egg, but where the Death Egg control station is. And with control over the Death Egg, we can vaporize not the rebels, but the Empire. Or so we hope. We are in command of whatever's left of the armatures, the Gundams here. I'm doing well, Atrocity. How are you? My throat is going to be sore in a little bit, but I'm fine. I'm well. It's been a pretty relaxing day thus far. Enjoyed some Daggerfall. Having some nice times. Just relaxing and chilling. Cool. So yeah, we're in a pretty rough situation right now, or I suppose you folks in chat are. I really haven't made any decisions. I've left it all up to chat to roll. Chat voting to see. Our piloting is 1. It used to be 5. But we have to learn how to pilot with 2 hands. And we only have 1 hand right now. Our mech has been redesigned for piloting with 1 hand. In addition, our mech also has suffered damage. It's been repaired a bit, but it's not at full health like it used to be. And yeah, piloting 1 used to be the best pilot in the fleet, and now we're crippled. Always good. Yes, we do have a romance interest. We have romanced our flight controller, Inari. She is a 19-year-old volunteer who just joined the rebellion a week ago, effectively. Maybe 2 weeks ago. Thanks to chat's actions. We inspired her, we filled her with hope, and then, we made a connection. It was meaningful and profound. I'd show off the achievements we've gotten, but I think we would all see spoilers about what other achievements you could get. We'll wait on that. Anyway, time for literature time, now that we've gone through that overview in case you missed last session. Let's see if we can finish this. I think our character's in his 30s. I mean, she's 19. Fine. I mean, it's space. Come on. It's the future. Things are different. Episode 9. A Desperate Attack. Kodak's Last Hope. Vedrian Wormhole Aperture. Vedria System. You exit the wormhole at full speed at the leading edge of the Kodak Advance. Combat armatures and warships amassed together as a single body, charging boldly forward into enemy space. Before you, the enemy fleet is in chaos. Captain Balin's plan has worked perfectly. The enemy's formation has been broken, its battleships and combat armatures clustered in a chaotic tangle around the shattered wreck of Crown Station. 1 or 2 of the enemy's vessels have been destroyed outright. The shattered shells of their hulls are the only things barring your way forward. However, they begin responding quickly to this new and unexpected attack. Even as you and your own allies charge deeper into the Vedrian system, the Imperial battle line begins to reform, and groups of enemy combat armatures coalesce into coherent units and begin to rush towards the Kodak fleet. Your eyes, however, fix themselves not on the chaotic tangle of the massive enemy force, but on the dark and sinister shape directly before you, larger than any warship, turning ponderously to face you as it slowly unfolds. Lightbearer, the Death Egg. Within seconds, Imperial combat armatures rush in to stem your advance, throwing themselves in front of the relentless attacks of your desperate allies. With a frantic bravado, they fling themselves against the Kodak force to no avail. Their numbers are too few and their coordination non-existent. Their nerves still rattled, first by the exploding civilian hulls, then by this impossibly ferocious surprise attack. The few enemy machines which sally forth to meet you stand no chance. The entire fleet opens fire, and the blackness of space is lit up by a hail of orange tracer. Most of the Imperial mecha are swept from existence by the storm of cannon fire. Pale blue light lances out at the one or two survivors, reducing them to shattered debris and glowing wreckage a second later. Unhindered, the Kodak fleet charges onward. More Imperial mecha and ships move to stop you, but they have no desire to meet the fate of their doomed companions. They advance more deliberately and cautiously as a single lumbering force. They will not be able to reach the Kodak force for some time yet. For now, the way forward to the Light Bearer is clear. With the last enemies between you and your objective dealt with, the rest of your allies peel off to face the bulk of the Imperial fleet. Only you and Hawkins continue on to the Light Bearer itself. Every other ship and combat armature will be needed to buy you time you and the Defector need to take over the Imperial superweapon and bring it to bear on the enemy. The main body of the enemy fleet still have the advantage of numbers and sheer firepower, but their formations waver. On the other hand, your own allies bristle aggressively, needling the ponderous enemy force with skirmishing attacks and long-range missiles. Only a few of the missiles strike home, and few of the probing strikes draw blood, but the tenacity of your allies is comforting all the same. They will buy you and Hawkins as much time as they can to hijack the Light Bearer. It should be more than enough. This feels a little repetitive, like I've read the past chapter before. I get the plan, okay? Paul, you need to move on here, and quit being so ponderous with your words. Thankfully, the Imperial superweapon has no defensive systems of its own, and whatever Let's try that sentence again. Thankfully, the Imperial superweapon has no defensive systems of its own. Right. And whatever defenders which it might have had have been destroyed by the first wave of rigged civilian ships, or are currently locked in battle with the Kodak fleet. It only takes a few seconds for the two of you to approach the Light Bearer itself. Brevity, Paul. The Imperial weapon is no longer trying to open up into firing position. The second you manage to break through, the Light Bearer's controllers apparently decided to hedge their bets. Now the enemy superweapon is safely encased behind its massive slabs of armor. I guess they're kind of familiar with our character's attempts to try and destroy it the first time, right? Your weapons cannot damage it, but neither can its powerful cannon turn itself upon you and the Kodak fleet. You keep a wary eye out for any enemy mecha lucky enough or skilled enough to break through your own fleet's formations, as Hawkins moves towards the inactive superweapon. Establishing comm link, the other pilot announces. Link established. Inputting codes. A moment later, Hawkins' mouth forms into a grim, almost pained smile. I have control. And then, the comm link goes silent. There is a moment of complete confusion as you try to make sense of Hawkins' sudden silence. Have his comms failed somehow? Are the Light Bearer's systems causing interference? You try opening a new channel. Hawkins, this is Chucklefuck Lance Lead. Respond. Still silence. A glance behind you shows a momentary flash of the battle. Kodak forces being pushed back, overwhelmed by sheer numbers. The Caliburn fights on at the very heart of the battle. Battered by a storm of Imperial fire, your home carrier spits defiance at the half a dozen Imperial ships which press forward, eager to score such a juicy kill. Around her, the ships of the Kodak fleet are dying, blasted apart by the missile salvos of Imperial warships and the slashing cuts of enemy mecha, despite the best attempts of the swiftly dwindling Kodak combat armatures still attempting to mount a defense. You try again. Hawkins, reactivate the Light Bearer and get into firing position. If we hit the Imperial fleet, we can finally bring an end to this damn war. This time, you get a response, but not the one you were waiting for. Hawkins reappears on your comm screen. Now, before I scroll down anymore, folks, I will note that Kodak had to be really fucking desperate, right? To put its hopes and dreams and, eggs into this basket of trusting the Blue Mask. Whereas we have been the preeminent ace of the Kodak fleet, particularly after defeating the Blue Mask in a duel and seizing his craft. The Blue Mask has been the preeminent, horrifying, absolutely intimidating ace of the Empire. And we've been asked before in the interlude, what the hell does he stand to gain by betraying? Is he so offended by the Death Egg? When you think about, his goals and what the Blue Mask wants, right? But was Kodak really in a position where it couldn't trust him? Like, the hopes and dreams of being able to bring this light bearer on the Empire? But it seems fair that the Blue Mask would have his own motivations, right? Maybe he just wants to deactivate the light bearer because he doesn't like it. And then, go on with what he really wants. It's impossible to say. Maybe he wants one final crack at us, chat, as revenge against defeating him in a duel. Of course, knowing that we're kind of deficient now. Who can say? I know some folks can. A few of my viewers, especially after seeing the start of the series, have bought the game and played it on their own. But by and large, as far as general chat is concerned, we don't know. And I don't want that answer to be revealed until we scroll down a bit more. Let's do it. I am afraid that I would consider such an outcome to be unacceptable. The next thing you know, you are staring down the barrel of Hawkins' particle beam cannon. Well, chat, go ahead and create a poll for you here. Option. We got option 1, I never should have trusted you. Option 2, why would you do this? Why would you betray us like this? Or option 3, if it's a fight you want, then I'm more than happy to give you one. Now, chat, I know how much you love asking questions. Do you want to ask a question? Chat does not want to ask questions. Damn. Chat not interested in questions. Not this time. Chat changes. I know Tolpanzer. Tolpanzer still frustrated over what happened last week. I know a few of my viewers too were as well. Like, Christ. Rico Rico's just falling apart here. Yeah. Chat's interested in having a throwdown with our moderately damaged Mecha. Maybe Kodak was wise enough to try and fiddle, and that's predominantly number 3, 52% of the vote. Maybe Kodak was smart enough to put some sabotage in the Blue Mask's mech, right? Because he had it aboard the Caliburn, right? Surely they did something to it, right? Once Mecha Ace is done, I'll be ending the broadcast and be shifting you folks over to Lethal Feline, who's going to be starting a broadcast this evening pretty much close to after I'm done. He's going to be doing some sort of cool one-shot that I'm interested in seeing. Anyway, if it's a fight you want, then I'm more than happy to give you one. Hawkins looks away for a moment, expression pensive. A fight? Yes, I suppose a fight is what I want, though I doubt I desire such a thing for the same short-sighted purpose as you. You keep a tight lid on your emotions as you lock eyes with the other pilot, carefully refusing to admit any emotion which might be taken as a sign of weakness. So now you have the light bearer under your control, and you're not going to use it to help us. The Imperial fleet isn't going to take you back. That implies that you have your own agenda to pursue, doesn't it? Hawkins' eyes narrow behind his mask. I did not lie to you when I spoke of my disgust for this. He waves a languid hand at the bulk of the light bearer beside him. Abomination. I have no intention of allowing the Empire to strip the bravery, the skill, and the decency from war by using such a weapon as this. He leans forward, his voice low and dangerous. However, if you think that I would allow the rebellion to use this device to end this war, you are gravely mistaken. This war has brought out the noblest and most extraordinary qualities in ordinary people. It made them heroes, paragons, and great leaders. I have no wish to see those same qualities wither away under the bitter winter of peace. Hawkins' hand gives a dismissive flick, as if the concept of a lasting peace, so distasteful to him, are no more than dust. The light bearer will be destroyed. The war will continue in the way it should, and humanity will be stronger for it. Ha! How about that, Chad? Option 1, you're insane. Option 2, I agree with you, but I won't betray Kodak. Option 3, you're right. course, our character has sort of been role-played as a person who, you know, just doing his job. You know, he wants fame and power and glory and wants to take any means to get that. But this whole war thing just kind of fucking exhausting, really. It's not anything to romanticize. And Hawkins is definitely romanticizing the power and the glory of war. And chat's pretty divided on this one. Now, of course, if there is any tie in this poll system, as has been ruled, I will roll a die. We'll see where it goes. Just like fighting people in giant mechas, can you blame him? Option number 2 wins the poll, 39%. Number 1 was close, with 35%. I agree with you, but I won't betray Kodak. Hawkins' eyebrow raises under his mask. Hawkins shakes his head, his expression a combination of sadness and pity that we can clearly make out under the half-mask. I had feared this. You lack the resolve to commit to the best course. I had hoped that you would gather the courage required, but no. That was pure foolishness. Hawkins launches his machine forward, poised to attack. If all the pretenses are out of the way, then it is best we end this farce. Time seems to slow as Hawkins draws his Roland's monosaber and rushes towards you. Tactical options flow through your mind. You consider your possible courses of action as they flash through your thoughts with a swiftness born of a whole war's worth of experience. A drawn-out slugging match is out of the question. It will not be long before the Kodak fleet is overwhelmed by the sheer numbers of the Imperial forces, and if you are to turn the light bearer upon the enemy fleet before they reach and overwhelm you, you must not waste any time. The most direct response, and the one that this mech and our character's prior experience has been geared for, would be to meet Hawkins close up in melee. It would be the most aggressive option, and the one most likely to take out Hawkins swiftly, but it is also the riskiest, especially against a highly skilled pilot like the Blue Mask. Alternatively, you could try to keep your distance and attack Hawkins from afar. However, your opponent's machine has powerful ranged weapons of its own, and you will have to be quick on your feet to avoid getting, I imagine it's supposed to say, hit in return. Another option would be to call for help from your allies. You'd need to keep a cool enough head to evade Hawkins' attacks and make the call simultaneously, but it might also give you enough of a momentary advantage to bring Hawkins down. Unfortunately, any forces you call to assist won't be able to help in holding back the Imperial fleet, which would weaken the Kodak defense considerably. Lastly, you just might still be able to talk to the enemy ace down, even if you aren't the most eloquent speaker. A personal appeal might just get through. Our stats and our mech are as so. We are primarily geared for fighting. We even got an achievement for being the most melee optimized you could possibly be. And whenever we've got an opportunity for attribute up in the past, we took piloting, which of course has been a bit diminished. I don't know whether that display should be altered a bit because of our one hand. I'm kind of curious to see what the hell happens. Anyway, we got 4 options here. I'll go ahead and put 60 seconds on the clock. Option 1, Option 2, Option 3, and Option 4. I'm going to vote for fighting Hawkins up close with my monosaber. Hello, Von Grimm. No, my name's purple, and I can't unpurplify it. My Beam Pro lasts for like 35,000 days. It's tragic. I wanted to have a blue name, Von Grimm. We can't have nice things. Send in the rookies! And you know, if we should perish, I do have that checkpoint that will load up. We'll have to cycle through the same option choices to get back to this point. Obviously, I did save the checkpoint after our hand got mangled. But we might explore a different path here. Let's say. Yes, we have a super awesome, ultra cool monosaber thing. That's like stylized after like the Imperials. 58% vote for number 1. Fight Hawkins up close with my monosaber. Like, we have average willpower. We don't seem to have the piloting, I think, that we could handle, like, dodging, like, accurate, precise shots, because of the fact that we only have one hand and we're trying to do everything one-handed. And, you know, our presence, we've tried talking to the Blue Mask before in the past, and he just shut us down. So, seems like fighting Hawkins up close is the best one. It's what we're the most geared for, even with one hand, effectively. You push the Lionheart forward to meet Hawkins' charge. Your opponent comes in fast and aggressive, his monosaber poised for a mighty sweeping swing. Preparing your own weapon, you ready to strike at his machine's exposed midsection as your two machines close. You make your attack, but instead of landing a blow on the other mecha, you find the Lionheart violently hurled aside, struck by the balled fist of the Roland's offhand. Damage clacks on scream in your ears. You try to regain your bearings, but Hawkins is pressing his attack hard. You barely parry the next attack and the next. You are battered back with every ferocious blow until you find your back almost pressed to the massive armored side of the Lightbearer itself. You have no more room to maneuver. When Hawkins readies his machine for a final blow, you take your chances. You heave off the side of the Imperial superweapon with a mighty push of the Lionheart's legs, sending yourself careening forward. Your machine slams into Hawkins's, interrupting the silence of space with an almighty crash transmitted through the shivering frames of your machines. Quickly, before your opponent can react, you push off again, sending the ex-Imperial pilot's machine flying off one way with you being sent the other. Your Lionheart is battered, but still intact, and you have a few precious seconds to regain your bearings. Well? Huh. Okay. So we're back here. Good news. We didn't get fucked. Bad news. We didn't win. I should have seen that coming. Oh wait, one perception. Our ranged weapon's pretty powerful, but I think we're definitely gonna get hit. I don't know how effective we'll be able to hit him, too, with our one perception. I don't actually know what the fuck to vote for here now. Fucking beats me. I'm glad this is up to you, chat. You have the particle rifle type 2. Chad opted for the mono saber here. So that's what we got. Oh, chat. You're great. Option 3 wins with 50% of the vote. Okay. Try to talk Hawkins down. True to form, Hawkins has left the comm line open even as he launches his attack. You send the Lionheart tumbling out of the way of your opponent's first strike. Hawkins quickly prepares for another pass, but you've won a few precious seconds to quickly consider your options. The most obvious approach would be to simply convince the other pilot of the error of his thinking, to stand down because it is the right thing to do. Unfortunately, considering the sheer level of conviction Hawkins seems to hold in his own unique philosophy, that will require a great deal of persuasiveness on your part. So, Chad, with this in mind, and it seems like the game is saying, hey, you got a hot idea, champ? Or maybe we might have another option here if, for whatever reason, we did a different thing. How will you do this? Will you try to convince Hawkins that his entire philosophy is wrong? Or this is a bad idea? Forget it. Come on. Charge with words. This is very Gundam and all Gundam shows. Ah, yes, yes. Let the talk. What are you even fighting for? Chucklefucks are committed. That's true. They might flip-flop and waffle in their commitment, but damn it, they're committed to something. At least presence is our highest stat. 82%. Hawkins comes in for another attack. Blade raised high in preparation for a slashing stroke. This time you don't run. You don't get out of the way. You stay right where you are. Then, as your opponent prepares to strike, you make your move. You send the Lionheart springing forward and parry your opponent's stroke, pressing your machines towards each other, blade to blade, your cockpits barely meters away from each other. Hawkins, we don't have time for this. The fleet is getting blasted to pieces out there. Good men and women are dying all because of you. The other pilot's expression settles into a confident smile under his blue mask. Yes, they are dying, but watch how well they die. Watch as they fight like lions against impossible odds. Watch as even the faintest hope of victory drives them to even greater feats. They die stronger and better than they have ever been in life. You rack your head for a response, more than just a blind retort, something that turns Hawkins' words on their head. Unfortunately, that distracts you just long enough for the ex-Imperial ace to bring his machine leg hurtling into the Lionheart's midsection, sending you reeling. Your opponent doesn't waste an instant pressing the attack. You scramble away from Hawkins' next attack, and still disoriented, don't quite get away in time. Hawkins' blade shears through your machine. It tears free loose panels of your machine's armor, exposing the vital systems underneath. Damage clacks on scream in your ears as you fight to get free. I'm afraid the time for talk is past, Hawkins declares, his voice almost artificially cold. If you wish to debate me, do it with rifle and blade, not rhetoric. With that, Hawkins' machine steadies itself and prepares to rush for you again. So much for talking him down. A quick look behind you shows the Kodak fleet is still managing to hold out against their Imperial opponents, but barely. Cracks are beginning to show in their defense as the Imperial ships pour missile salvos into concentrated points of the Rebellion's last fleet. They will not be able to hold for much longer. If beating Hawkins will get you access to the Lightbearer, you'll need to do it quickly. I have no fucking clue how beating him will get us access to it. Right? He's the one who put in the codes. Chad, I'm not putting try to talk Hawkins down as another option. I'm not going to allow you to troll yourselves. Alright, I'll show stats again. It's taking critical damage. Yeah, it's pretty bad. We started off at moderate damage. Because our mecha was was severely damaged after the last major battle we were in, and now it is back to critical damage. We're looking pretty rough. No. Okay, 52% to 48%. Attack Hawkins from long range with my particle rifle. You fall back as Hawkins advances, trying to get a clear shot without allowing your highly skilled opponent to get close enough to strike first. Your battle quickly becomes a chase, with his mecha pursuing yours as you try to win a few seconds with which to aim fire. You send the Lionheart twisting and turning in tight angular patterns, but Hawkins is right behind you. This approach isn't working. You need a new plan. Hawkins lunges for you again, mono saber at the ready. You spot your chance and take it. Suddenly, you bring the Lionheart around to face Hawkins' onrushing machine and drive right into your opponent's attack. Only at the last instant do you hurl your machine to the side, letting your foe's mecha barrel pass you. Hastily, you turn around and bring your particle rifle to bear on the exposed back of Hawkins' machine. A fraction of a second is all you have to make the shot before Hawkins has a chance to react. You squeeze the trigger. The shots graze the armor of Hawkins' machine, leaving deep molten gouges behind, but no real damage. Hawkins reacts almost immediately, turning his own machine to face you, even as he brings up the massive barrel of the Roland's beam cannon. You have only a split second to react as your opponent unleashes the power of the Imperial prototype's cannon. You hurl the Lionheart away from the Roland's axis of fire as a pillar of blinding light shines forth from the other machine's weapon, and its winged radiators are engulfed in the flames of burning coolant. Too late. The bright beam of the Roland's weapon tears through the Lionheart's armor like paper. Your machine is flung away, a ragdoll through a hurricane. The shot strikes the Lionheart dead on. The bright beam of the Roland's cannon rips through your machine's armor. Okay, you already said that. Paul. The fuck is this sentence, Paul? What the hell, Paul? You can't do this to me. For an instant, your cockpit is engulfed in a bright, all-encompassing flash. The very air burns as the universe burns. The very air burns as the universe burns, and melts and boils away into blackness. Your character has died. Would you like to reload your last checkpoint? Yes. Checkpoint loaded. Interlude. Tell you what, Chad. Hello, Tiny. We're going to do this rapid fire here. I'm going to give you folks an opportunity to see whether you want to try any new things here in this interlude. But I ain't reading through this. If you missed last session, I don't give a fuck. It starts now. So now we're answering the intelligence officer on how trustworthy we might think the blue mask is, everyone. I'm probably going to set the voting to just be 30 seconds. I had it be 45 even more. I trust him even more now, you know? We have this checkpoint saved for a reason, everyone. In case we died. Game over, yeah! This isn't the interlude. Well, the second interlude was very far back before our defense of Crown Station. And we only have one checkpoint, and it's been saved here. 79%. Good. I'm not so sure either. So, chat, what do you think here? You think Hawkins could be a valuable ally? Or Hawkins is a powerful weapon to use against our enemies, but I wouldn't trust him? Or the Commandant has his own agenda, but that doesn't mean he can't be useful? Or Hawkins is dangerous and untrustworthy. We shouldn't have anything to do with him. Last time, chat, we voted number 3. You still think number 3 is true? Now chat has been burned and wants to do the burning in turn. Yes, they were part of a chapter. They were before this interlude. Alright, 50% have voted number 4. Intelligence officer's eyebrows rise upwards. You really think that man is that big of a threat? You nod in agreement. I do. Commandant Hawkins clearly has his own agenda, and I seriously doubt that it'll benefit us in the long run. And your recommendation would be? Hawkins' skills as a pilot are valuable, sure, and so is the intelligence that he's brought to us, but I don't think we should rely on either. Yes. So that talks about the intel. There we go. We show our handoff. We're taken to the doctor. Oh, shit. Well, chat. That's right, Lieutenant Smash. Last time we were confronted with this option that our hand would move again. We chose to fight it. You chose to fight it. And we got an achievement for it. Games like this ain't no fucking anime, bruh. You wanna, knowing that it's the exact same outcome, do you wish to continue to say, no, this hand will move again, even though it will never move again? Or do you want to see the different thing? Except that there's nothing I can do. Our will has crystallized. Chat's will is indefatigable. I mean, who knows? There might have been a skill up if you selected accept it, right? It doesn't. Sad. We're led by our escort. We're taken to the briefing room. Chad, are you interested in talking to Inari again at this moment? You want to try speaking to Captain Balin? You want to try speaking to Chief Weaver? Crew Chief Weaver? You just want to quietly find a seat somewhere and wait for the briefing to start. Chad's like, no! We're going to... Oh, no. No, changed. Chad changed. Instead of sitting down, Chad's like, no. Inari. She must know. Waifu! Double the achievement, yes. Double the fun. 41%. Inari, what's up? Have you seen Azin Zanazani anywhere? Do you know what this briefing's about? I have no idea it's found. I don't even think I'm supposed to be here. Of course you count. That's right. Really? That's right, you're damn it right. That means a lot. The plan. Gonna load up some freights with a whole bunch of metric fuck tons of antimatter. It's gonna be absolutely awesome. It's gonna be tremendous. How could this plan possibly fail? Captain Balin, I mean, she's just such a great schemer. She must surely have some kinds of plans. I mean, surely this won't possibly fail us in any way, shape, or form. So, does this look like a stroke of genius to you? Or suicide? Or a part of something bigger? Personally, folks, this looks like fucking suicide to me. Because I think the plan will get everyone killed. And it won't make Codex position any better. Had a nightmare. Like, we had a VR simulation about this plan, guys. Especially if this plan ends up relying in any way, shape, or form on the blue mask. I think it's a terrible plan. Just throwing that one out there. 50%. Yeah. You might want to keep that opinion to yourself, especially now. Blue mask comes onto the stage. I'm awesome. I totally got a great idea. You're dismissed. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Do you have any questions for the blue mask? Out of curiosity. Just figured I'd ask. Phone in for a friend. Yeah, you have questions. Or no, go fuck yourself. Lieutenant Smash, you put your little hand in mine. It's a shame we have to go through this damn interlude again before we can get to the battle. Like, hurt. Like, that wouldn't be true if I made, like, a backup save copy. Like, I'm pretty sure I could find out in the folder, like, where it was and make, like, a backup save. But, I'll use the game's built-in system. 64%. No. As a matter of fact, no. Don't care. Hawkins' eyebrow inclines upward behind his sky blue mask into, as far as you can tell, a look of genuine surprise. Really? The ex-Imperial leans back and crosses his arms, as if he were a mathematician examining a new problem. I suppose there can only really be two reasons for that. You either trust me and my plan utterly and have no reason to question my methods or motives, or you don't trust me at all, and would thus consider any answer to be a lie by default. Which one could it be? Last time chat was all like, yeah, I trust you, you're my bro, and then bro fucking killed you. Ah. That's pretty damn hopeful for, you know, it's a shame they didn't sabotage that armature at all, right? So desperate they were, in the hope that Blue Mask would aid. I don't trust you at all. Chat's all burned now. I didn't trust him either. Spite chat's fighting hard. That's it. They had a vision of dying. They had a vision of fighting with only one piloting. Scorn chat. And Nari, waifu never betrayed us. I don't trust you at all. Hawkins seems taken aback by your response. In fact, you might almost say that the ex-Imperial looks genuinely hurt. Perhaps you are wise in mistrusting me, pilot. Then again, perhaps it is mere paranoia rather than caution that makes you so ill-disposed towards me. Whatever your reasons, I can assure you of this. I can assure you of this. The other ace leans in towards you, deep blue eyes, gazing into your own with a deadly earnestness. If all goes well, by the end of the day's battle, the light bearer will not be in Imperial hands, I swear it. Do you believe me when I tell you that the light bearer no longer in Imperial hands, boss? You know, actually, I think he's right on that one. Yeah, look at how fucking cunning that is. I vow, on my honor, light bearer will no longer be in Imperial hands. Oh, I believe you. Yeah, that sounds legit to me. Shit, 74%. Yeah, I believe you. Hawkins closes his eyes and his expression softens into a faint smile. Then that is a small victory at least. The other pilot begins to walk around you. See you on the battlefield, pilot. Yes, our good friend Save and Load. He says he passes you. Then he is gone. Of course we gotta go find Inari again. I won't abandon you. I'll always be here for you until the blue mask kills us. You romanced your bridge controller. Chocofuck Lance Lead is deploying. Speech time, everyone! Yeah! Last time we tried to give a speech to rouse everyone's fighting spirit, and it faded off. It just fell. A dud. A complete and total dud, despite all the awesome cool shit our character has done. Now, chat, you want to try giving that speech again? You want to remind everyone that victory here might mean a quick end to the war? Or a loss might mean a quick end to the war? To encourage everyone to hunt down the enemy coldly or without mercy? Or to not give a speech after all? What are we good at? Nothing. We used to be awesome at piloting. The best pilot. Piloting a 5. Then we were tortured. Our right hand was permanently damaged. And there's all the nerve endings are dead. So it's down to 1. 46% voted number 2. That's what chat chose to do. Chat's been driving here, making all the decisions. Hello, Blue Spirit. This has totally been interactive. 46% vote number 2. Chat, by and large, although there have been a few folks who've known things about the game, I've told them to keep quiet about it. And chat has been making all the viewer choices. And just so happened that right hand got permanent nerve damage. Okay, gotta remind everyone that victory, we actually died in a fight with Blue Mask here, and we're re-going through the interlude again at a lightning quick rate. Remind everyone that victory here might mean a quick end to the war. Alright, pilots, I'd like to say a few words. You keep your voice as controlled and even as possible. Public speaking isn't something you're used to, but even you know that showing fatigue to this wary crowd would be a recipe for disaster. I know it's been a long war, and we've had to sacrifice a lot to keep fighting. I know a lot of you are asking yourselves the same thing. How much longer is this war going to go on? Every time I've asked myself that, I've never been able to come up with an answer until today. You paused just long enough to catch your breath. Now you must convince them that the chance to end the war today is a real one. The enemy is more exhausted than we are. All it will take is one sharp blow to shatter their resolve, to bring them to the bargaining table. Today we have the 1 in a million chance to deliver that blow. Peace is within our grasp. All we have to do is reach out and grab it. All I'm asking from you is one more day of war, one more day of sacrifice, one more day of battle. Under the pause, the channel is still silent. Here it comes, the moment of truth. One more day is all I need. Will you give it to me? The channel erupts in cheers and shouts of approval. Your earnest appeal has dredged up one last reserve of enthusiasm from the hearts of your war-weary comrades. It's time. And now we are back to when we started playing Mecha Ace tonight. It's like the past 50 minutes haven't actually happened, everyone. Good times, good times. Blue Mask defeated. Defeated, chat. That is a sadness. It's looking pretty rough. It's looking pretty rough, chat. It's not looking good. You know, Blue Spirit, I think chat's still trying to work that one out. Tried the Mono Saber him. Didn't get a decisive advantage there. Tried to talk to him. He hurt us. Then chat tried to shoot him. That resulted in our death. Chat pretty much has left calling for allies here. Or maybe not getting into a fight with the Blue Mask at all. We'll see. We'll see what chat decides to do this time. Yeah, Lionheart is currently at moderate damage level. Lance is MIA, all presumed killed in action. There's only one checkpoint. We can't go back further. And I saved the checkpoint right at that third interlude. I did so intentionally. I'm not driving this bus all the way back and reading through all of that again. If you want to, you can, and as some of the viewers have, buy Mecha Ace and play it on your own. My throat can only endure so much reading, folks. This is where we're at right now in the story. We're committed to this. The best we can do is go back to at the start of that interlude we just blew through again. So, the light bearer. We escort the blue mask towards it. He invokes the codes. And he's all nwee. Outcome unacceptable. With that in mind, chat, you say I never should have trusted you. Why would you do this? Why would you betray us like this? Or shall you select option 3 again? If it is a fight you want, then I am more than happy to give you one. And again, I noted that chat is pretty strong with question time. It seems that this time, chat is going to go with question time. I never should have trusted you. We never did trust him, right? Exactly. Ah, good times, good times. Poor player character here. Chat did pretty well until that whole messy business with torture and holding their ground. Then we got captured. 61% have voted for number 2. Why would you do this? Why would you betray us like this? Your words seem to have little effect on the pilot, almost as if he had been planning to be the recipient of such an accusation for a long time. I've not betrayed your side. My loyalties have been to my own heart and mind for a long time. I swore no oaths when I offered to help your side with the light bearer. I have broken no promises, turned my back on no loyalties. You keep a tight lid on your emotions as you lock eyes with the other pilot, and we've read through the rest of that before. I'm a dick. So, last time, chat, you said, I agree with you, but I won't betray Codec. And that resulted in us getting into a fight, which we lost. Now, we have defeated the Blue Mask before in a duel. Very handily, I might add. But that was back whenever we had 2 hands. 2 functioning hands. We don't anymore, and our piloting skill is a whopping 1. And despite the conversion of the mech to, be one-handed for us, we've had no time to really adjust to piloting a mech like this. 62% of us said number 3. So, number 3 it is. You're right. Hawkins' eyebrow raises under his mask. How droll, pilot. I had not realized that you thought me such a fool. After all this time spent in mistrust, in conflict, and in mutual antagonism, you expect me now to believe that you have had a sudden change of heart right at the most decisive moment? No, no, no. You will not have me lower my guard to such a shabby ruse. If you wish for a chance to prove your sincerity, do so in battle. Defeat me, and I shall relinquish command of the Lightbearer to you to do with as you wish. But until then... I know. Oh, well, I guess I should have pretended to trust him after all. But, no, defend yourself. Well, chat, I guess we'll try the only other option that you didn't vote for before. We're going to have to call for support, despite our lack of willpower. You quickly realize that you don't have a solid shot of taking down Hawkins by yourself. Maybe it's because of the fact that you only have one working hand. You'll need to call in some kind of help. You fall back in the face of Hawkins' charge, trying to get some space to maneuver. You'll need to hold your attacker off while making the call, and keep focused, with your 2 willpower, on dodging your highly skilled opponent's attacks while ordering in support. You consider your choices. The most obvious source of aid would be the other lances in the Codec fleet. You don't know how good their pilots are, and you're pretty sure Hawkins is too good to be taken down by anything less of an overwhelming numerical advantage, such as what happened to you. But at the very least, reinforcements would serve as enough of a distraction to give you an opening. Lastly, you could call the Caliburn for fire support. I feel as if there's a void there where our actual lands would be. While Hawkins would probably be able to dodge a volley of warship-launched missiles, the fact that we'd have to dodge those incoming missiles might give you the opening you'd need to end this fight quickly. Needless to say, calling in support would weaken the main Codec force, perhaps even decisively. Maybe it would be better to try to handle this yourself, without calling away forces that might be better used to keep the Imperial Grand Fleet off your back. Unfortunately, Can't really do that. Don't really have that power. Chat tried. Chat died. So, I'm just going to go ahead and leave option 3 off the table here. Order reinforcements from the main Codec force or request fire support from the Caliburn. Fucking Larian. God damn. That's the first pun that's got me today. It's a shame I'm out of codes, Larian. Oh, man. Damn it. Yeah, fire support. Sounds like we're going to have to try and dodge that too with our one piloting, right? It's like, the game talks about, like, our one-handedness at times, but mostly just completely ignores it. Like, completely bulldozes past it. Because, like, all the storylines are, like, written for you having functioning hands. And, you know, only, like, barely mentions it. Anyway, 71% say number 2. You send the Lionheart tumbling away from Hawkins' next attack and continue to maneuver away as you open a channel to the Caliburn. When Captain Balin answers, she does not look pleased. The smoke wreathing her head and the fresh burn on her forehead do not improve her expression.
Commander Rico, what the hell is going on? Why has the light bearer not been activated and turned on the enemy?
You take a look at Hawkins' machine as it turns around and prepares for another pass. Yeah, about that. Turns out our defector just went rogue. I can't get my hands on the light bearer until I take him down. I need fire support. The captain looks away for a moment, shouting something made unintelligible by the shuddering crash of a fresh missile impact. It seems rather sloppy to have only just literally sent the Blue Mask and us to handle this pod, right? Considering the severe mistrust we expressed in the Blue Mask, combined with, although we defeated him in a duel once, we no longer have a functioning right hand. I'm sure it'll be fine. We'll put our faith and trust in it. I'm sure Rico Rico, the player character, will figure out a solution. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, it was pretty easy back when we had 2 hands and 5 piloting and maximized melee skill. Yeah, sure. Yep. Anyway, we can be given 1 missile volley on our signal. You close the line and look up just in time to see Hawkins' machine rushing towards you, weapon ready to strike. With an instant to react, you panic, sending your machine tumbling away from the unexpected attack an instant too late. Okay, so now we're at critical damage. We're at critical damage now. But thankfully, the mech just got repaired enough to hold on. It's simple enough to lock onto Hawkins' onrushing machine with your target destination system and send the signal to fire even as you duck out of the way of your opponent's charge. Your tactical display tracks the Caliburn's missiles as they close on Hawkins' machine. Your opponent must have noticed them too. Within seconds, he has called off his next pass, turning his machine towards the oncoming missiles. Hawkins brings the Roland's particle beam cannon to bear on the rapidly closing missile volley and squeezes the trigger. The blackness of space fills with explosive bursts of light as the Imperial prototype's experimental weapon annihilates more than half of the incoming wave. Before, I imagine, it even gets close. The remaining missiles continue to strike towards Hawkins' machine at high speed. The ex-Imperial pilot seems to have no intention of presenting an easy target. You follow Hawkins as he leads the Caliburn's missiles on a twisting pursuit, shaking off the pursuing missiles one by one. It is clear now the Caliburn's missiles won't take your opponent down, but they will serve as a useful distraction. Hawkins doesn't even see your attack coming. And that wouldn't be a surprise considering the critical damage that we suffered, yeah? One instant, the Imperial ex-ace is disposing of the last of the Caliburn's missiles. The next, you are upon him. The other pilot manages to barely parry your first blow, but Hawkins is still too disoriented from your surprise attack to finish like, "I thought you had honor! We had fair duels!" Well, you know, lots of things are at stake here, buddy. Your blade shears through the Roland's shoulder, sending its weapon hand spinning off into space. Before your opponent can react, you strike again, severing the Imperial prototype's legs just above the knee. Oh, chat, love those responses there. Without 3 of its 4 limbs, Hawkins' machine has next to no ability to maneuver. In the face of a pilot as skilled as yourself, he is, for all intents and purposes, defenseless. Alright, chat. So it was possible and viable for us to survive that. It's just that instead of choosing fire support, chat voted for all the other options. Charging, talking, and then pew-pewing. But it was possible for us to survive that. We could have chosen fire support here. We didn't have to go through that checkpoint again. Yeah. That death is on your hands, chat. Achievement. Orlando Furioso. Defeat the mech while Hawkins is piloting it. Hawkins looks back at you through the comlink, his mask cracked and battered, his pale skin streaked with soot and blood and sweat. Well done, he manages in between hard, deep breaths. You have bested me and earned your prize. Hawkins looks down for a second, entering something into his cockpit interface, then looks back up. I'm giving you control of the light bearer, excuse me. Sorry, don't know where I got lightsaber from. A new notice appears on your status display. Exterior weapon system detected. Interface complete. Full access granted. Strategic weapon system light bearer. Ready for orders. The light bearer's interface. Alright, time for us to read again, everyone, now that we're in new territory. The light bearer's interface is remarkably simple. It seems that its developers had put the operating system together in a big hurry. Oh my goodness, not the operating system thing again. The Empire seems as desperate to end the war as Codec is. It only takes you a few seconds to figure out the basic workings of Windows. Good thing, too, because the Codec fleet is mere moments away from being overrun by the vastly larger Imperial force. If you're going to enact the last phase of Captain Balin's plan and use the light bearer to wipe out the Imperial fleet, this could be your last chance to do it. On the other hand, while it is the obvious thing to do, other dissenting thoughts flow through your mind even as you begin the process of activating the light bearer's firing systems. There is, however, an even riskier option. While the original plan calls for the annihilation of the enemy fleet, you see no reason why you couldn't try to use the superweapon to force them to surrender. After all, Codec is desperately short of warships. Capturing the entire Imperial Grand Fleet for the rebellion would be an unprecedented coup for Codec and would save the lives of the hundreds of thousands of men and women on board those Imperial warships, many of whom are guilty of nothing but serving their country. All you'd have to do is be persuasive enough to convince the enemy to give up. If you use the light bearer destroyer to capture the Imperial fleet, it would not necessarily mean the end of the war. The Codec Defense Committee might push for an immediate counterattack, and the Imperial military still has other fleets. The reprieve that such a victory might win for Codec might be small indeed. However, having the light bearer under your control also means that you are in a position of great power. If you only shifted your aim a little, you could threaten both fleets with annihilation and force them to accept a ceasefire. That might have a better chance of not only ending the battle, but turning into a full peace agreement. It would also mean effectively betraying Codec as well. Oh shit, chat. As a reminder, we have 1 piloting, 1 perception, 2 willpower, 2 presence. The Lionheart has taken critical damage, but we managed to defeat Hawkins. I'm going to give this 2 minutes. 2-minute vote, chat. That's going to give me some time to turn on some light in my room. You, as almost always, are making the choices here. Option 1. We aim the light bearer at the Imperial fleet and fire. Option 2. Use the light bearer as a threat to force a ceasefire between both fleets. Or Option 3. Intimidate the Imperial Grand Fleet into surrendering with the light bearer. Of course, there could be a concern in that someone else who has the codes for the light bearer will approach it and try to activate those and regain control. Hawkins, of course, the blue mask, can't do a damn thing. We've really severed apart his mech. But, now this is a key thing, but, it's not exactly like we have a lot of skill or power right now either, right? Sure, you can vote. Voting poll, it should appear at the top above this chat window. If you're watching and you want to vote, you're by more means welcome to do so. I don't know whether mobile users can vote. I'm going to stay out of this vote. Yeah, go for it. Chat viewers are the ones who are making the decisions. What's our light bearer skill level? Never used it before. Alright, brain food. No worries, and chat has always been free to make whatever arguments or cases they might want for options. This is just one interactive game of several that I put through chat before, where they make all the choices, the determining factors. And I just go along for the ride and the read. Because we're on a railroad, Maligon, that's why. It's a choose-your-own-adventure railroad. Our character does want glory and fame. It's true. It's definitely true. He was designed, chat designed him with that in mind. Yeah. There's plenty of other interactive stories I've had polling options for. 49% have voted for number 1. 29% voted for number 2, and 22% voted for number 3. So it looks like we're going to be doing number 1. Hopefully this will all be done a little bit better when Beam actually improves their polling system. It's something they're working on right now. The poll system that's currently built into Beam is fairly rubbish, but at least it does have one, so I don't have to use like Straw Poll or another third-party website. Anyway, we shall aim the light bearer at the Imperial fleet and fire. So be it. You enter the targeting data into the light bearer's fire control system. The Imperial superweapon's massive petals slowly begin to open as the immense form begins to reorient itself towards the not-too-distant battle between the two fleets. A timer appears in the light bearer's system interface, estimated time until ready to fire, you suppose. It gives you maybe a minute before it opens fire on your selected target. So, you have what you want, Hawkins says, almost whispers to the comm line. What of me? What of Hawkins? His machine is no longer a threat. Without verniers, it can hardly move in the microgravity space. The pilot inside, however, might be a different matter. Still, how will you deal with the arrogant, supremely skilled man who began this war as your enemy, risked everything to become your ally, only to betray you and try to kill you once more? Is he a defeated enemy who is no longer a threat, a potential ally, or because chat might carry a grudge over what happened in the last reality, a loose end to be tied up permanently? I think he would want this way. I would say finish him off. Yeah. I'm not willing to say he's no longer a problem. You know, he would want it like this. Yep, he killed our character once. Forced me to have to reload back to the interlude. Tragic. I guess I could have just left it there and not even reloaded and said, well, we're dead. What if he gets to use a checkpoint? I guess we'll find out. 70%. Look at all that non-grudgery. He did it to us. The gloves on the other hand now. Dick. You shoulder the Lionheart's weapon, pointing the barrel at Hawkins' machine. What of you? You respond as you aim carefully at the Roland's cockpit. You're too dangerous to let live. It's unfortunate, but I can't change that. Hawkins looks back at you, expression composed, resigned to his fate. Very well then. End it. You squeeze the trigger. With Hawkins dealt with, you have a more pressing matter at hand. The light bearer's countdown is finished. It stands before you, unfolded in its terrible entirety. In place of the countdown on the interface panel, there are only a series of targeting coordinates and a single strobing red button. You check the coordinates against the Lionheart's own. They're a perfect match. The light bearer is pointed right where you want it. There's only one thing left to do now. Fire. You press the button. Nothing happened. A plume of light shoots from Lightbearer's aperture, a beam of indescribable brightness cutting through the darkness of space like the blinding blade of a divine sword. Here's where we start waxing poetic and melodramatic here. Your cockpit begins to shake, your machine caught in the red-hot exhaust of the coolant system. Jets of superheated gas buffet the Lionheart as the Imperial superweapon's output intensifies, the light of its fire opening brighter and brighter, a maw of radiance fit to swallow the universe. Finally, it becomes too much for your whole cameras. Their overload controls kick in, shutting down until the intense light is gone, to spare both you, your eyes, and the lenses that are your only window to the outside universe. Even though your cameras are blind, your tactical display still works. First, it shows a thin beam of intense energy cutting through the massive blotch that is the Imperial Grand Fleet. Then, the enemy formation is drowned by a beam of light, a part of the universe being seared from existence. Yes, buffet. I said it. Buffet. Not buffet. Buffet. Don't you want to sit at the superheated laser buffet? Where the amassed ships and combat armatures in the Imperial Grand Fleet were before, there is now nothing. Someone catch you up what you missed so far? Maybe someone in chat will do that. We've gone through almost the entire game, I think. Before there is now nothing. No returns on your tactical display, no thruster plumes or shining holes in sight. You've done it. Dozens of ships, hundreds of mecha, hundreds of thousands of lives wiped out in an instant, all at your command. Some might call it a cheap price to pay for victory. You? You're not too sure. Larget line puppy. We were a mech who we've went on a few missions. We used to have a team with us. We've romanced an individual. It's been, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 hours in the gameplay. 10. It's just been a slow and methodical go through because I've been reading things to allow chat the opportunity to make decisions. Those all count as kills, right? Only a few Imperial warships and mecha remain on your scope. The ones already locked in close combat with the Kodak fleet. Now their guns fall silent. New signals fill the comm frequencies. The survivors of the enemy fleet are surrendering. I hope our waifu appreciates what we've done here. The battle is over. The day is done. And as for tomorrow, well, it seems you still have a war to fight. Oh, confirmed kills 82. What? Come on. Just following orders. Epilogue. 2 years later. CWS Caliburn near Vedria Prime. Attention all pilots and deck crews. 5 minutes remaining until Operation Start. All personnel prepare for combat armature launch. You almost ignore the voice blaring through the hangar bay's loudspeakers as you cross the massive chamber to where the Lionheart awaits. Chief Weaver follows, barely a step behind you. This game is called Mecha Ace. It is a choose-your-own-adventure story. It is available on Steam, along with several other different games, a few dozen or so, that are choose-your-own-adventure style in nature. Either like these purely interactive like text options or game books or other things like that. Or, of course, plenty of other like choose-your-adventure books or even stories on the internet that you can get at no charge. It's just where this one comes from. Your machine's been refueled and rearmed, as per standing procedure. I have had a bit of trouble with the port forearm verniers, though. I think one of the power linkages is loose. Tell me if it starts acting up, and I'll make sure to get it replaced on our next layover. I'll keep tabs on it, you reply reassuringly. We didn't do it all at once. It's just been like over the course of a few weeks, we spent some time reading through it. I'll keep tabs on it, you reply reassuringly, as you reach the ladder to the elevated catwalk, leading to the Lionheart's open cockpit. Anything else? Yeah, be careful out there, Commander. After all these years, there's finally an end in sight to this war. Now's not the time to throw your life away. The deck chief has a point. It's taken 2 years for Codec to rebuild. I added that 2 in there. Its antimatter reserves and its fleet. You have no doubt that the Imperials have been doing the same. This time, however, it is the enemy who faces the threat of being driven out of Vedria. And this time, they have no more super weapon surprises waiting for you. Military intelligence made especially sure of that. After 7 years, there is finally some hope that this war, the deadliest in human history, is nearing its end. The last thing you want to do is get yourself killed in the final days. I won't take any unnecessary risks, you reply. Weaver nods back. All right. Good luck out there. No. I'm presuming that these stats won't change anymore. I'm pretty sure we're in the epilogue and it's set in stone, so the stats won't be changing anymore. But I'm pretty confident we've gotten better at piloting now that we've gotten used to it. Hell, we probably have our own mecha hand now. Because, we were told that would get done. We just needed time for it to be done. You strap into the Lionheart's cockpit as your body adjusts to the familiar contours of your combat armature's chair and you take hold of the controls. It still takes a moment or two to get your right hand settled. The prosthetic is state-of-the-art, delivered free of charge by your grateful superiors. Still, it's taken some getting used to. The doctors say you've been making great progress over the past few months. Soon, your piloting skills will be back at their peak. Attention all pilots and deck crews, 2 minutes until operations start. One by one, you bring the Lionheart systems online and do your final system check. Yes, 5 will be back in time for the war's end. Well, that might be too ambitious. 5 might be back in time to continue the war after taking Vedria. With your mecha status green across the board, you move the giant war machine out of its maintenance bay and begin moving the launch area as your suit begins injecting you with your dose of combat stimulants. Yeah, we had the crew separate from us, and they sacrificed their lives to ensure that the Caliburn and those other ships in that fleet would survive. They're all toast. But maybe we'll find Asadi in the epilogue. Who can say? Some folks might say, but I can't say. And we'll find out together. Hello, Firewalker. Reading through the epilogue here of Mecha Ace. That's what we're doing. As you take position at the head of your assembling lance, a familiar face pops up on your comm link screen. Chucklefuck Lance Lead Senpai, report launch status. I didn't do that as high as I did. Excuse me, let me...
Chucklefuck Lance Lead, report launch status.
Inari certainly has matured over the last 2 years. With Codec's rebuilt fleet needing every experienced officer they could get their hands on, the young acting ensign soon became a regular officer, though her post hasn't changed. I'm fine down here. How are you? The young bridge officer looks away for a moment and takes a deep breath.
It's weird, coming home after all this.
You nod. Sometimes you forget that the bridge controller is from Vedria Prime. While her parents might be safely in exile on Albion, you have no doubt that the young officer is worried about the friends and other family she left behind 2 years ago.
I'll have to show you around sometime, Senpai. Maybe introduce you to some of my old friends,
she muses. That's exactly how she sounds when she muses everyone. You nod. Yeah, afterwards. Right now, we have a battle to fight. That gets Inari's professionalism back up in a hurry.
Of course, you launch in 30 seconds. Stay safe, Rico Senpai. Baka.
You nod back. You too, Inari. Oh yeah. How about those achievements? We ended things with more than 80 kills and more than 80 reputation, and we completed the main story, everyone. That's Rico. Yes. Yes, Summer. The seconds tick down as the final vestiges of the deck crews clear the hangar bay. Your eyesight sharpens, and your body tenses as the combat stimulants work through your system. You move the Lionheart on the ship's launch catapult as the last few seconds count down, your finger hovering over the launch controls. Finally. Chucklefuck Lance Lead, you are clear for launch. She might have been saying that. What the fuck ever, right? You press the button. Chucklefuck Lance Lead. Deploying. We hope you've enjoyed playing Mecha Ace. Nah, I'm good, but thanks. Our final stats. 82 confirmed kills and 95 reputation after it was all said and done. 100% deliberation, mostly a diplomat. Piloting got wrecked due to torture, so although we were the best melee combatant that could possibly exist in the game to the extent that we got an achievement for it, couldn't really do anything with it. We had to reload from the checkpoint once. We died. The Blue Mask defeated us, but all things considered, we're 3-1 against the Blue Mask, because we beat him in our first duel because he had to retreat, he was being called away. We beat him in his second duel, and he escaped. And, then we just beat him by having the caliber and shoot a bunch of missiles. I mean, you totally didn't expect that. Huh? So we're 3-1. Those are winning odds. I think so. Bit of a good show. Yeah, we'll get our 5 piloting back, though. Of course, there's a lot of history that I simply didn't pour through the game. Achievements-wise, I think it's fair to actually start looking through these now. And we'll just look through the top. I won't look at the bottom. It's up to you whether you want to look through the bottom. We used the light bear to destroy the enemy fleet. We recovered a prototype. We completed the main story. We romanced the bridge controller. We buried Hawkins in a swarm of missiles. Willpower failed us in a crucial moment. We defeated the Roland while Hawkins was piloting it. We maxed out melee combat ability. We ended the story with more than 80 reputation. And we ended the story with more than 80 kills. There are still 19 remaining achievements, including 9 hidden achievements. Folks, I'm going to leave that stuff for you to discover on your own, but it is possible that I may return to Mecha Ace again, and interactive chat can drive Rico Rico here through another exciting adventure. Not right now, though. But I think, Mecha Ace is fairly short enough. I did want to read some of the longer interactive stories that had a lot of great words. Not a lot of great words, like I can read words, just a lot of words, like 300,000 words. Like, we initially started this during one of the marathons. It just has like a nice interactive interlude, and I think it's pretty fun. A number of folks have told me they bought the game, they've been trying it, they've been exploring different pathways. It's been fun. All thanks to the adventures of Commander Rico Rico of Chucklefuck Lance. Chat, you did all right. A crown station got destroyed. Hand got fucked up, but now we're like Luke Skywalker, right? Everything is great. Yes. As for you folks who got spoiled there, I just looked up the top. I actually haven't read anything down there. So if you got spoiled, that's because you can't focus your eyes properly. That said, whenever achievements did pop up in the bottom right corner, instead of allowing us to read the text fully, yeah, that was a little spoilerish. That was definitely a little spoilerish. That's a shame, but I imagine that same mechanic exists. Like, that same mechanic existed whenever I was running through, like, the Hero Project. I was like, well, thanks, game. And it's just a matter of, like, how this system is constructed. Yeah. Fully deliberate. We had a romance. Alright, chat. It's good. It's good. That takes care of Mecha Ace. That puts it to bed. It's been fun. And we'll have to see if we do this or some other interactive story again together in the near future. But for YouTube's local recording, that takes care of business.